And so give us a little bit of your background. How did you come to find foot traffic or find? Anyways, how did you end up coming to create foot traffic? What have you done in the past that kind of helps you really focus on the cannabis industry and create an opportunity here?
Yeah, so after I graduated from Sonoma State up here, I moved to San Diego and I did an internship at an agency.
Mm-hmm.
So I was the third person there. It was called Best Rank at that time. I think they grew to 30 people by the time I left. After that, I was there about 3 years. After that, I started an e-commerce store for bamboo products, so same eco-friendly as you, Chikodi. We got that up to about 6,000 SKUs in bamboo. I didn't even know that exists.
Not an insignificant amount.
Yeah, and then after that, I started Cash and Biz, which is a B2B publication for the cannabis space.
Mm-hmm. I
knew I wanted to be in the space. I grew up in Sonoma County. Cannabis has always been a part of my life, so I was looking for my place in it. And I wasn't sure if I wanted to do marketing. So I was just interviewing the different thought leaders, movers and shakers, entrepreneurs in the space. Mm-hmm. And after that, I decided to do a test campaign with Clear Choice Cannabis in Washington, which was last year in April. We took them from, I think it was 650,000 to 1.2 million in 9 months. And after that, a light bulb went off. It's like, okay, I have to do this and apply this to every metropolitan area in the whole country.
That's amazing. Yeah. And so we were talking off camera before the show where I think Chikodi was pointing out that you took that dispensary from ranked number 16th to
Correct.
number 2?
Yes.
In a 9-month period.
Correct.
That's amazing. So
by revenue.
The only reason they're not number 1 is because their competitor, the number 1 is Main Street Marijuana, and it's in Vancouver, Washington, on the border. So people from Oregon go there to buy cannabis, and it's the only store that offers, I think, the concentrates stuff there. So that's the only reason they're number 2.
Well, so this is a great example. Let's break down kind of that project a little bit, or whatever you're willing to tell us on camera. What was the state of affairs like when you got there, and then how did you establish what the plan was going to be? Or is it kind of more of the startup mentality? It's like, we're going to try a series of things, very quickly look at what takes hold, and then really start kind of letting that take us down the road.
Yeah, so as of now, the current priorities for a dispensary should be website, SEO, and customer database. Mm-hmm. And that's something I figured out over that startup phase. Like, we were testing out different things. I already knew the basics. So you can do the SEO basics, the website basics, mobile, which is huge. Yeah. So we did A/B testing, created a mobile version of the website for best conversions to get people to the only actions we care about, which is menu, visits, deals, requests for directions, and phone calls. Everything else is irrelevant. Gotcha. So just keeping it really focused. And right now we're in that testing phase where there was not media buying opportunities available for dispensaries, and now they're somewhat opening up. So Google AdWords is now approving accounts. Display advertising is opening up across major publications.
And I'm assuming there's certain stipulations, you can't actually mention the sell of cannabis, but you can maybe
dispensary.
Dispensary one of the banned words, or
no? You can use dispensary.
You can use dispensary.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can't use cannabis, marijuana, drugs, or anything involved with paraphernalia.
Gotcha.
So it's starting to open up now. For dispensaries, you really can't advertise on Facebook, but if you're a software company, there's workarounds for that.
Yeah. And are people still facing the issues of having their accounts shut down?
Oh yeah. It's that's not going to change. So my take on that is it's going to continue to happen on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and any other websites, just because they are public companies. Sure. And until it's federally decriminalized, it's still going to be the case.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Chikodi, when you are kind of working with these companies and you're helping them establish their brand, I'm assuming that a lot of times they need a lot of help, right? They have an idea of the market they want to address. How do you help them? What are the questions you ask to help start driving them in the right direction, or coming? Is it analyzing the market, or is it more analyzing the company within and telling their story?
Well, I really like to look at a problem, and the more specific the problem, the better, because in the United States, we are such a massive economy that if you really nail the solution to one problem, you are going to be fabulously rich and loved forever. You know, I mean, I don't want to be flip, but like if it was pet dandruff or something like that, and you knew how to solve dandruff in small dogs, there's so many dogs in this country, for instance, that, you know, you'll never run out of customers.
Yeah.
So
I have a little football-sized dog at home that would love that. Yeah.
People love their pets.
Yeah.
So really, my approach is to get as granular as possible and really just speak to the pain of one person. And if you can translate one person's pain and your solution to that pain, then you've done most of what you need to do. And then it's all of the channels that, you know, foot traffic can help find these people.
I think that's super interesting because we that's kind of from the marketing standpoint, but like even when we're working with a very early stage startup, it's like solve one customer's need and it maybe extrapolate that to the next 100 people like them, but really solve their need in a critical way to where you become indispensable to that customer and just build everything around that. And then after you've established that, it's actually easy to kind of maybe expand the story a little bit or expand your customer focus so that you can loop in a new group of people and make them evangelists for your product.
Totally. Yep. Because it's challenging enough just to get one story, you know, told well. So, you know, in the Valley and just in entrepreneurship in general, people have a lot of ideas. They're up late at night thinking about, oh, I could do this, I could do that. And that's part of the creative process. When it comes down to running a really well-oiled machine, you just have to know that you're doing one thing. And it's not nearly as easy as you think to just, you know, pull away all the distractions and just do one thing.
Yeah.
So to the extent possible, we really focus on that one person, that one thing, and you know, really telling that story well.
Right. So a big part of this, and you mentioned one of the tactics is SEO, search engine optimization. And SEO has been a thing. Like it's been a thing for like what 30 years now.
Long time.
But SEO has changed, and the way Chikodi thinks about SEO might be different from the way Guillermo thinks about SEO because a lot of your clients are local businesses. And local SEO might be different than kind of global SEO, right?
Correct.
So when you start thinking about that, key terms, all these kind of things, like just, I would like to hear both your perspectives or like if you have differing perspectives, would love to hear that. A little controversy is always good. You know, how do you start approaching that problem of SEO? It's like, I'm ranked on like the third page of Google for everything.
Yeah, well, we worked together on Trellis on specifically targeting keywords for the software. And, you know, I did the research and I told him what I needed as far as keywords in search engine optimization. Like we need these placed X amount of times within the content. And then he developed the messaging behind that.
Yeah.
So that, I mean, not to sell your business for you, but that's kind of the benefit of a specialist is like very specific tactical ways to go about SEO. So
correct.
Mentioning it this way, bolding it, putting it in titles or whatever, like
I feel like best practices.
Yeah, well, I mean, I feel like I read a lot of books and it's just like, all right, here's the thought process behind it. But what's really helpful for founders and why we're starting to do the show a little bit more like this is here's some to-dos to do.
Yeah.
Right.
I would say one actionable tip is that when it comes to ranking your content for search, that Google wants your content to be for a human audience. So there's the algorithms running in the background looking for density of keywords and everything. At the end of the day, it still has to be readable to a human. So you can do certain things to ensure the prominence of terms that you're ranking for. But if people aren't reading and sharing your content, like actual humans, then Google isn't going to prioritize.
So you're saying the algorithms are getting
smarter. So I mean, keep this in mind. Voice search is gaining huge popularity now, so you have to write the content as if it was as if it were a person asking. You know, like where do I find the best dispensary around?
Right.